This is so important that we can never go over this enough. Whenever you have contact with law enforcement, especially if you're suspected of committing a crime or you're about to be charged with a crime, when police arrest you, they're going to tell you something. And it's so important that they tell you this, that there's a case named after it, and it's called the Miranda warning. Miranda was a gentleman out of Arizona. He filed an appeal against the state of Arizona because Miranda, the man's last name was Miranda, he got in the police car and started talking to the police about his case, semi-confessing, saying this and saying that. The police had not advised him or told him, hey, listen, anything you tell me, it will be used against you. I will tell the prosecutor that you told me this, and he'll use it against you in a trial or a court. He's going to use it to convict you. Mr. Miranda didn't know that. So he filed an appeal against the state, and he won. And the courts told him that, hey, from now on, anytime a police officer is arresting someone, you have to inform them of these rights. And you hear this all the time, and you will for the rest of your life. It's very important. The first part of the Miranda warning, you have a right to remain silent. I cannot tell you from personal experience, I cannot tell you how important this is. Your words can be flipped, they can be mismanaged, things can be taken and blown out of proportion. Do not say anything. The police want to arrest you. They don't want to help you. They're not listening to you to help you explain your way out of it. They're listening to you to get information from you to help convict you, to help build a case against you. So no, I understand you may want to go home. I understand they may tell you, well, we can get you out of here. You can go home. We just want you to tell us. Do not do that. That will be considered a confession. And especially if it's something you didn't do, you'll be convicted and you'll have no fight. So the first thing they tell you is you have the right to remain silent. You cannot be punished for this. You cannot get in trouble later on for this. You have a constitutional right to say, I'm not saying anything, I want a lawyer. And that's it. The second part they're going to tell you, after they say you have the right to remain silent, they're going to tell you anything you say can and it will be used against you in a court of law. Meaning if you get picked up, the police come by and you and your girlfriend are having a domestic disturbance, you have a problem or whatever, and then you get in the car on the way to the station, you say something to the effect, man, forget her. She was getting on my nerves. That's why I hit her, forget her. Like, that will be brought up in a court. Later on, when you try to fight it, the prosecutor will bring the police in and he'll testify that you said that you hit her because she was getting on your nerves. Okay? So anything that you say out of your mouth will later on be used against you. And that is why it's important that you don't say anything at all. Number 3, you have a right to an attorney. This is a lawyer. And again, as I explained in another clip, the lawyer that they're talking about, if you cannot afford to pay for a private attorney, you have the right to be appointed an attorney by the court. The state will appoint you a lawyer, and that lawyer will be a public defender. Okay? You also have the right to stop answering questions at any time if, God forbid, you start. But also remember, it's the best thing to never talk at all, to say, hey, I want my attorney, to understand that what you say will be used against you. And if you don't have the money to pay for a private attorney, the court has no choice but to appoint one for you. You have to have someone to represent you through the legal system to even be convicted. So there are cases that say lawyers are ineffective or lawyers have abandoned people. If you end up with a public defender, like I said, immediately start writing or emailing, reaching out and calling your public defender. Keep dates and times of letters, copies of letters that you sent. If you do an email, that's perfect because it's time, date stamp. And if you call, keep a log of every time you reach out to your public defender. You cannot be prosecuted without adequate representation from a lawyer. So again, that's the Miranda right, the Miranda warning. I'm sorry, you have a right to these things. When you get time, pull up Miranda Vs Arizona. read the case, very interesting. But this is why when police arrest you, they tell you a very important thing. You have the right to remain silent.